Well, I don't know. I am very, very behind in my lovely quilt. But anyway, this is the joy, quilt joy.
Okay.
Okay. Block number 3, cutting out the binding or the the borders.
Uh-huh.
Confusion plus to me because the instructions, I'm looking at the instructions here, and I cut blush down here just for instance. Okay. So it says cut 1 piece of width of fabric at 3¼ inches. Then it says cut 4 pieces 2¼ by 3¼ but
Hang
block
tight,
3
Janet.
needs
Let me
three and a
pull it
half
up
inch.
onto this screen so that we can actually have a look at it.
Okay.
Let's see. So you're looking at the block 3, how to stitch it?
Yeah.
Okay, hang tight 1 second. Popped up on my big screen. Let's bring it down onto the little screen. Okay. So which page are you on?
Page 3.
Page 3. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I've cut blush. Okay. Blush. Okay. Right there. Yeah, that's it. So
Okay.
you're supposed to be, for block 3, you're supposed to cut 3½ inch triangle corner. But the pieces that I cut has been 3¼ 1 piece with the fabric 3¼ Do I cut
So,
that? Am I supposed
okay.
to cut? Sorry.
So, there are 3 sizes of triangles that you're going to stitch up, right? We got 2-inch triangles, and by 2-inch wide, we've got 2½ inch wide, and we've got 3½ inch wide,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yes.
The size of the pieces is not going to be 3½ inches or 2½ by or 2 for the corners.
It's not going to be.
No. For the backgrounds, yes, there will be a relationship. So for the 2-inch triangle backgrounds, you can see we've got 2½ inches by 2½ inches for the size of the
Yes.
piece. So that's your 2 inches with a 1/2 inch seam allowance,
Okay.
right?
Uh-huh.
The 2½ inch triangle backgrounds, let me see, then we've got 3 inches by 2½ inches. So this 3 inches wide is your 2½ inches plus your 1/2 inch seam allowance.
Okay.
And the 3½ inch triangle background, you've got 4 inches wide. So 3½ inches plus your 1/2 inch, right? So those are for the backgrounds. When it comes to the corners, those are weird size pieces that don't really have any relationship to the sizes that you've got here for the backgrounds or for the triangle, the sizes of the actual blocks. So when you're seeing here 4 pieces, 2¼ inches by 3¼ inches, that's how big the corners need to be in order to create that size triangle. I think it's a case of you potentially just have to go with the flow, cut the pieces, and then you'll see how they fit. Let me actually have a look down at the diagrams in a little bit. So when you come to stitch, we've actually been, let's see, these diagrams are for the 2-inch wide finished blocks, right?
Yes.
So each of these squares is a placement line to show you where to put the background fabric, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to pop your bits of tape on so that you can hold the background fabric in place.
Right.
Then it's going to stitch these placement lines.
Right.
Right. And then you're going to put the corner pieces down,
Okay.
right? So
Mhm.
this corner piece here is going to sit across this corner here. The next step is when it's actually stitching that seam line there. Okay, let me
Uh-huh.
see if I can zoom in on this. Can you see the seam line here?
Yes, yes, I do.
Right? So then we actually, you've got your seam line there.
Yes.
Then once the next step
Fold
is
it.
you flip that, you fold it into position,
Right.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Then you're going to have your placement line for the second corner.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to place your fabric right side down.
Right.
You're going to stitch that seam line.
Mm-hmm.
Then,
Fold it back.
well, actually, at that point, you've got all of the seam lines stitched. So we're actually going to take everything out of the hoop and trim everything. So before you flip that over, you're actually going to trim that seam. So you're going
Okay.
from this to that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Then you can actually refold this guy down so that you can trim the seam allowance under there and then fold them both out. So it ends up looking like this.
Yes.
And then you're going to trim it to the actual size it's going to be to fit into the block.
Okay.
So this piece here, the bits that I'm calling the triangle corners, they're
Okay.
kind of almost they're actually very precisely sized, but they're kind of, from your point of view, they're pretty randomly sized.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Janet?
Yes, I think so.
If you just cut the
It's
pieces,
not working right.
yeah, cut the pieces at the size that they're specified.
Okay.
Let's zoom back in again a little bit here so we can find it. So cut your triangle corners the size that they're specified,
Okay. All right.
and and just put them in place, and know that I specified those sizes pretty exactly so that they will fit, and um you can end up with your pieced triangle blocks.
Okay.
They're kind of sort of they're kind of sort of flying geese blocks. They're a little bit different in that we needed that they're in a traditional flying geese block. You've got a 45-degree angle here and a 45-degree angle here, and so you can use squares on the corners.
Okay.
Because these guys are not traditional, the size for these pieces is a little different.
Right on. Okay. That's good.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are welcome. And pop into the Facebook group if you're still
Yeah.
challenged
Okay.
between now and our next call, because there's lots of people who have stitched these guys up. Were you in the Joy Club? Yes, you came to our Zooms, right?
Yeah.
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 So make sure you check out the Block 3 Joy Club recording as
Yeah.
well,
Okay.
because we talked about this quite a lot there.
Yeah. Okay. No, I just have an awful time getting to sew. That's the big thing. And I just get so frustrated. I'm so far behind.
Well,
But
we're can we get rid of the being behind part? There's people who only just started last week.
okay.
So I know that you're seeing in the Facebook group pictures of finished quilts, which
Yeah.
is awesome and wonderful, but there's literally somebody who started last week.
Okay. That's good.
So you're not behind in comparison with them. And Judy too. Judy has still got some of her blocks to piece or to quilt, who
Sure.
we were talking to just a few minutes ago. So no such thing as behind. But whatever we can do to help you, we're here.
Okay. Now look,
And if you need permission to go into your sewing room and shut the door so that nobody can come and bother you, then you got it.
thank you. I'm going to tell you, I'm going away for 3 weeks starting in middle of January. So I won't be around for a while, but so I
Well,
won't be
have a
getting
good
anything
time.
done.
Have a good time wherever you are. And we'll see you when you get back.
Thank you. All right.
You're
Thanks
welcome.
again, Sarah. Happy
Oh,
New
you're
Year.
welcome. Thank you. And to you. Good to see you,
Thank
Janet.